Hello. Oh, my voice got caught in my throat there. Hi. Jesus. The self-assassination attempt is real. Okie dokie. Let's finish village, maybe, I guess? I need waist and arms. One of them I should be able to get. It's not the arms. There we go. Max that bad boy in terms of defense, and I'll have a look at my decorations again as well and fiddle with all of that. Reorder, plop this down here. Apparently I didn't have any equipped anyway. Well, okie dokie then. I don't think I need that anymore, right? Yeah, fast charge is sorting itself now. Which is delightful. Which means if I can get it, I can focus on getting myself some crits. And maybe some anti-sharpen as well. Because I'm going to need a sharpener one in a moment, so I should build that now while I'm thinking about it. Otherwise I'm just going to have to build it later. Sharpener. Get one of those. And then I want expert if I can. I need royal Ludroth scales. I can at least plop one on for now, just to have the crit I2, and then I'll figure out if I want to do stuff with that later or not, I guess. Good stuff. Oh, it's so good. I'm getting there, man. Almost a full armor set. Okay, let's kill the low rank Jaggy so that I've got the full thing. Or the, whatever it's called. Ruggy. Inventory is all good. Kill this Ruggy, get that brace. Build the final bit of armor. I slaughter my way through the rest of village. Then I go back into multi. And basically just get myself to high rank, into G, other than the fact that I have to solo that final quest myself. It is that simple at this point. I love it. Man. I'm so happy with how this is going. This run has been relatively speedy. Thinking about it. Like, I'm a good chunk of hours in, obviously, but you're gonna be. So. Rude. Good stuff. gonna hit you up with one of these in case you do some weird stuff. I think you're one of the ones that typically doesn't tend to do weird stuff, but better safe than sorry. 'Tis you. Hello, N10. How are you? There's my brace. Oh, Diablos. I am there. Fan fucking tastic. Is it not called Marrow? I don't know what it's called, like medulla. It's a medulla. Oh, you got a relatively good chance of getting it as well. That won't even be that much farm, probably. In all likelihood. Solid chunk of quests, but fine with that. Good rewards. Okay. Armorcraft. Forge armor. Arms. Diablos. Vamps. Thank you very much. He's goddamn done it. And the detriment is gone, and I'm up to crit I3. Fan fucking tastic. Can even do this and put that in there, and then I can eat for Figgy again. You're still jealous of that charm? That charm is fucked, man. Normally an absolutely terrible charm, right? You get that, you're like, ugh. Now it's amazing. Combo rate 13, expert 3. Absolutely friggin' perfect. Crit I3, combo 45, tremor res focus. This is a bloody good armor set. This is a bloody good armor set. Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. Let's do this as well, because I need to do this quest. Which does mean I'm going to need some antidotes. Right, the best hiring us to offer? Yeah. Apparently, both ranged and melee. Crazy stuff. And I can just eat for weakener. because I have combo rate 45. I can just eat for weakener. What a day. What a day. Does it say on here who's first or not? I don't remember what order they were in. I think it was Goebel, Ruggy, Laggy. Which would seem to track by the fact that Ruggy isn't here. And Goebel does appear to be there. Yep. Sure is. Thanks for the free mega potion, dummy. Village to Ivory or Zhou as well? Zhou. Because that way the only thing I need to solo in hub is... What's it called? God bid. Since I don't count Gen as a relevant creature. Because it's just a siege fight, like you can do it solo easily, it just takes time. Oh, there's no need to do Gen twice, right? There is no doubt whether you can do that or not in this game. Solo. Hallowed, like yeah, sure, maybe there's something there. But also the canteen's for alcohol, right? I might not do it anyway. Because I don't need that. No doubt you can beat a Baggy either. I think Baggy was the closest one of those trio to actually killing me, to be fair. Zhen, the thing with Zhen is that the majority of the fight isn't even you doing damage, right? With the other fights, it's more important to prove that your weapon is the thing that's capable of doing damage. You can kill Zhen without ever hitting it with your weapon, probably, I imagine. If you have, like, all of the damage boosting skills for the ballista and stuff. You hit both drags. I doubt you'd ever need to attack him, really. Or if you did, you could probably do it with, like, rusted weapons. With no damage skills. Thankfully, this is not try. Probably not kill, but repel. Repel is all I require to do for quests in which that is a feature. So. By my own logic. All I have to do is get a quest win. Man, I'm really upset that I feel like Safi is probably the closest we got to having an actually, like, good rappel quest. And even then, like, the way it works there is so fucking irritating. Good memories of the olden times on the PSPs. With the Monster Hunter peeps. Doing barely enough damage to repel Fatalis every single quest. The ones we lived, anyway. We'll eventually get him down. We really were not very good. To be fair, we were like 10, so 11. It makes sense we weren't very good, but we really were not very good. Times. Good times. What do I have to do after this quest? Azulos? Steel Urigan, Glacial Agnactor. I think that might be it. Then Ivory and Zhen? Oh, not Zhen, sorry. Ivory and Zhou? Zhou Zhen? Zhen Zhou. Don't be a dick, Blue Drafts. Oh, don't make me kill you, please. I really cannot be arsed, but I will kill you if you keep interrupting me. There we go. Ten-year-old you wouldn't have even reached, Fatty? I don't know if 10-year-old me would have reached Fatty solo. But how old would I have been at that point? Like 14, 15-year-old me? Did almost every single quest in that entire game solo. I don't fucking know how. But I did. You're a psycho when you're a kid, man. The ability to just do one thing. It is ludicrous. Hi, buddy. I feel like we were just here doing this, except you flinched a lot easier. And you didn't give me mega potions when I carve as well. Of course, the fucking shakalakas get the flint. G rank by the end of the week. Then the real challenge begins. Then we're at the point where we fail class, if I could even get into G in the first place. Honestly. With reduced healing, that's gonna be so hard. That's gonna be so difficult with less healing. Hello, Summers. How are you? How are you? The emote, I have to alt tab for that one. Ah, tired. Fair. I feel you today. I did not sleep well. In the slightest. So I am with you. My brain did that fun old thing of, I'm like really tired, fully ready, about to fall asleep, like genuinely half a minute away from being asleep. And then it was just like, how about we fully focus on the intricacies of creating this spreadsheet that you're never even gonna make? And now you're wide awake, bitch. That was annoying. Not really what I want to be doing at midnight. That hit me right at the end. That's so poopy. You're getting a wee bit tired of the vet stacking in Darktide? More veterans stacked in the lobby. Is it the strongest character? Because if so, that's... seems pretty typical. You have devolved into matter. Congratulations. No other playstyle is viable. Enjoy your life. the strongest everyone wants to play him because of voice of command. Plasma gun go brr. It's the same as Matter and Monster Hunter, right? Longsword isn't actually necessarily the strongest thing in most of the games, but it's the strongest that's the easiest accessible. It's the pseudo-meta option. It outputs the most amount of damage while still looking flashy, and doesn't really necessarily require you to play like disgustingly well, right? Similar situation, I would imagine. A crutch, if you will. To a degree, I suppose. I always think of Crutch as more like Magnet Spike from Frontier, where it's just so disgustingly overpowered that you basically don't even need to like play the game anymore, unless you're against really, really hard creatures, because it just does so much of the work by itself. To be fair, in the newer gens, but Longsword might be at that point. I think there's more done now, at least in terms of Rise and Wilds to stop counter abuse, but in World it was silly. You have a problem with the plasma gun. It always gets paired with a dueling sword, which is top 3 strongest melee of any character. I mean, this is like, you're playing at a high level, I presume, right? Assuming there's difficulty in the game, you typically tend to stray towards getting as hard as you can, from my understanding. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. It's not fun, but it's just normal, right? Give people enough time, they'll optimize the fun out of anything. Heresy, which is like intermediate, dipping your toes into the actual hard stuff, really? So not even at the toppy top. Well, that's well, that's boring. If you're running into it that often. Grand. So if you were in meta builds and malice, which is the second easiest, you then you just start other weapons. Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that meta is the death of all games. As soon as something is either competitive or even cooperative multiplayer, the endless constant meta that it devolves into, because they're the only people who play the game anymore, it stifles the, like, fun, right? It's endless. It's actually something I'm really surprised about with Helldivers, is something I really enjoy about Helldivers. Is that even though I play it on, like, difficulty 6 or 7 and never any other point, really. I think I did 8s for a tiny little bit a while back when I was playing. I feel like I always see people bringing different shit. It's never just the same, like, the same gun, the same secondary, the same 4. Whatchamacallums? Stratagems. Like, sure, there's always eagles and stuff, right? But overall, it tends to be relatively different. Which is nice. There's the dairy level. I don't even need to do that, Jen, really. I mean, I'll unlock it just to have it unlocked, I guess, but I don't need to do it at all. There we go, dragon ship unlocked. These are all masks, of which none of I care for. Honey. Okay, actual questing. Don't need to do that. 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 So yeah, at least for the moment, Steel, Urigan, Glacial, Agnak, and Aziolos are the only ones I've got. Which means flash bombs and antidotes. It was Moga, so I don't need anything else. This. 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 Yep, 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 yep. Yep. And yeps. Do a little bit of this. Biggest gripe with it is the meta chasing in Darktide. Weapons like the Hellbore Lasgun, which is very solid, specializing in at least special missing use looks to cause it trash because you can't spam it into the horde yet. I kind of like genuinely think the worst thing you can do in a big game like that, where it has that kind of like co-op multiplayer, is play with randos. If it's the only way you have to play online, then it's what you have to do, and it's like a bummer, but you just have to do it, right, if you want to play online. But playing those games with just friends who are just like happy to chill and do their own stuff and figure out their own builds and slowly make their own things is super fun. The key is pink and azure. Okay, we're not doing this quest then because this quest is irrelevant. This is still Misty Peaks, so I can still do this, so it's still fine. Don't need to rejig my inventory. Thank you, M10. Thank you very much. Hello, Rote. How are you? You red thing, you. Actually got a poison. Why do I keep getting poisons, man? Oh, Pinky Ian's in here. Pretty sure he's leaving. Oh, no, no, he is not, in fact, leaving. I have been betrayed. What? That didn't work? That must have been barely too early. I have to block this. Well, that works. Are you two not gonna break apart? Is this gonna be a big problem? Oh good, she's angry now. You're out of stamina now, so please leave to get food. I feel like my camera went really weird then. Aw. Insta charge, man. I forget it's still alive and well in Gen 3. Well, not much I can do about that one. Went for the cats instead of for me. I didn't even consider it, to be honest. Good. Thank fuck that's off, because that's annoying to deal with. Thanks, Banabra. Truly amazed that did not hit me, and very happy about it. Thank you, game. Shouldn't hit me, but it should wind me, yeah. Think Ian's in here now. Heard her flying down. Good job, Big Ian. I don't know what to tell you, Raph. She doesn't want you to fly, man. She broke both your wings. He broke one of her wings in retaliation. Amazing. These two are not having a good relationship by walking on divorce, yeah. I don't know if it's a divorce, I think it's just a full-on domestic. I mean, they're gonna, like, she's gonna be divorced in a moment. Widowed is maybe the more appropriate term, I suppose. Thanks. No! God damn it, man. Okay. Gonna do this and miss. Oh, come on. Because I imagine he is probably dead soon. Full broken. Don't believe he was terribly strong because it's a multi with weakener. Hey, Bracky! Thank you. Oh, God. Yeah, he can do that. Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate it. How was your stream? What were you up to? What were you playing? I don't want to be slimed. I've had enough of slime in this game, though. Please. Oh. I had the weapon used on one quest, and I was like, damn, these things are busted. These things are so OP. Let me give you a little bit of return love there. Chill. Chill. You're on wilds. Nice. Anything in particular? Or... You would have at first. You thought it was a TTS bot talking. I am the TTS bot. You've been praying so hard for a free U port to Switch. We were talking about it earlier. When's the next anniversary? Like the next milestone anniversary? We only recently had 15 years, right? By the time it gets to 20, it's probably too long. Wait, we're already at 20? I don't know where we're at. I was thinking for the franchise, not for, specifically for the game, though. Maybe like 15 years? I doubt it. Unfortunately. Hello, Snuggle. Welcome. Good. It would be nice. 3G was 2011, we're right there. Ah. Well. Dropping in December on the Switch. I mean, at this point, wouldn't it come out on the Switch 2? Honestly, just put it on friggin' PC. Still buy it, whatever it's on. You'd think that the biggest game they've dropped this year is Switch 1. Not sure what they're doing. That's about right. Capcom hates their fans. I wonder, because let's be real here, if there's one thing Capcom loves to do, it's republish the same game again. The Resident Evil franchise, just all over, right? I wonder if it's actually the Monster Hunter team specifically that are saying, like, no, we're not going to do it. Because that's the only thing that would make sense to me. Because they do it for fucking everything, right? But they don't do it for Monster Hunter. Bar that one time. Ugh. The thing that I have with it, because it's intriguing to think about, right? The problem I personally would have is I do not see them doing a port. I see them doing a remaster. More so their thing, right? It's what they like doing. And I don't think this game will feel the same if you remaster it. I think it loses all of its charm. If you take this and pop it into like modern graphics style and update all the weapons and monster movesets and all that bollocks, which is what they do with the Resident Evil remasters, right? They take the old game and basically like completely change it. I don't think it's gonna have any charm anymore. RE1 remaster was pretty faithful. But if you look at the two of them side to side, it's just not the same game anymore, right? Just the sheer amount of things that are different. Like this game, if you changed just the ability to heal while on the go that modern Monster Hunter games have, it's not the same game anymore. Like that is a crippling difference. Just add the radio menu. The actual gameplay was similar, really? Even like the fucking awkward, unchangeable camera angles and stuff? I think they're worried it won't go down with a new fan base. Yeah, that is my expectation as well. What I'm wondering, it's where my funny little thing that I have in my head where I've like flipped allegiance technically. What I'm wondering, because the way that it's always been, at least in my mind, but until World came along and really like fucked with stuff, but even then, the mainline games tend to be a little bit more, at least typically tempered in scope, right? And the portable games have become a little bit more eccentric as of GU and Rise. I'm wondering if the portable team will make a hybrid old new game. Because unironically, I legitimately think that a bunch of the newer people who've played the game would actually fucking love segmented areas. They don't have to run around as much. They just go for a loading screen that on modern day hardware would be bloody instantaneous, then they're instantly in the fight with the monster again. For the like absolute crackhead combat speed that we have in the new games. You tell people are gonna fucking love that, man, instead of running on the dog for like 5 minutes to get to the next fight. People are gonna be delighted. Hello, Lion. Welcome. World map took the piss for you, the forest. I love Worlds Wilds is what I wanted to say there, and then I realized that's the most like confusing thing ever. I love Worlds maps. I am definitely not the newer audience, sadly. I like the tracking and stuff. You like follow the monster around and pick up their tracks and learning the big maps and all that stuff. It tickles me. We're talking about remakes for 2 and 3. I don't really know any of them, to be honest. I've seen like little clips here and there, and I think I watched my friend play through at least part of one of the ones that took place in the Raccoon City Police Department, but I don't know which one, because I think there's multiple of those, right? Remasters aren't really dedicated to new fans, yeah. But that's the thing with like modern modern development right is it's not about what it's for, it's about how can it make the most money. So making a remaster that appeals to both the old and the new people is what gets you the most money. It's sad, but it's true. Of course, because to be quirky, Mayline's now serious. Yeah, exactly. Biggest kick in the nuts, the pop-up camps? Yeah. The thing that I don't mind terribly too much about that is that you can just choose not to interact with it, which is what I do. I will fail a mission before I restock on Hunt. Unless I'm doing a challenge run. Because I'm with you. There's this really cool, like, feeding into itself gameplay loop that I feel like they could have, but they don't want to do it because they're afraid to commit to it because people won't like it. Of the, like, the prep, then the hunt of, like, tracking the monster down, and then the fight. Where you have intermittent, like, chase or being chased sequences inside of the fight when it flees or whatever, right? I really think that's... For me, that's like peak Monster Hunter gameplay right there. But the thing I do like with the camps is that they let you change weapons. Because there's some, as a dual blades player mainly, specifically elemental, because yes, some of the quests where you have to fight like 3 or more creatures at once, and they all have completely different elemental weaknesses, and then you can't change weapon mid-quest. It's a fun little puzzle sometimes trying to figure out what the best thing to bring is, but also it's really fucking annoying. You're like, cool, I killed the 2 creatures that I'm strong against. Now I'm completely useless against the 3rd one. I'm doing raw damage. Didn't know this map was in 3U. This map's weird. It's not in Try, obviously, because it didn't exist yet. It's in 3U, but it's not in 3U until high rank. It's definitely a stranger. It is a nice map. I do like this map. See why they want to keep mid-hunt restocking, makes the game so much more accessible, yeah. Wish they port the older ones. I do as well, to a degree. It would be nice. It would be nice. I sadly don't think they ever will. Or I think it will be remasters. At which point the games that we want to play probably won't exist anymore. Hurts my heart, man, but hey, I'm going to assume that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic. Thank you very much for the follow. Magic Yu-Gi-Oh! 64. That would be very confusing if they're both the games. You don't have to worry about that. People unfollow all the time for whatever reason they want. Sometimes you pop in for a moment and I haven't played any Monster Hunter for a while, you're like, who the fuck's this guy? Right? Some people are only around for singular, like, franchises or whatever. I understand. I take no offense. Glacial Agnak means I need cool drinks. I should be strong enough, but I don't need meat yet. Probably. Hopefully. Saving the pain that Steel Arrogant. I don't want to fight Steel Arrogant, man. Steel Arrogant sucks. Anyway, yeah, mild hope. Well, I'm fighting Steel Arrogant now because I brought cool drinks, so instead of hot drinks. So never mind, Urigan now. We'll save Glacial for last. He's in the tundra, so I need cool drink. It is my hope that maybe, just maybe, if the stars fucking align, we get either just a straight up old school game, but with like newer monsters and stuff, done by the Portable team, or we get some kind of hybrid game where it at the very least has like segmented areas, no on quests messing around with camps and stuff. But still has all the modern day like movesets and bells and whistles and all that stuff. It probably will never happen, but it wouldn't help me either, really. It still wouldn't allow me to really enjoy the newer games, even if they did it like that, but at least it would be something. It'd be closer to what I like to play. In our wildest dreams. We can hope, right? They go old, you hope they do it properly and don't go overboard with the story. Is it bad that I say that I don't really mind the stories? I think they fucked up with they fucked up with Worlds real bad when they didn't let you skip the cutscenes. Because some people don't want it, right? So just like let people skip it. I know it's like you put a lot of hard work and a lot of people put a lot of effort into those things, but like just let the people who don't want to watch them skip them. Also, for the sake of replays, for the love of God. Wild's fucked up by being like, we let you skip the cutscenes, but here's some cutscenes where you walk that you can't skip because they're not cutscenes. So that's miserable on replay as well. They really need to, like, just mess with it. Just make it work, you know? Don't make the game horrible to replay. And let people skip it who don't care. Do you get detracted from the pacing of the experience, really? Interesting. Because for me, one of the most recent and most enjoyable memories I've had with Monster Hunter is playing Iceborne Release, being very, very unhealthy, very bad boy. Staying up the night before to sleep enough during the day to wake up an hour before it released in my time zone, so that I could play it for as much time as possible before I got tired, to have a 3-hour nap, to finish the game in like 1 day, 4 hours or something, after it released. Very unhealthy. But one of the most like impactful experiences that I had there was specifically because of the story. When you're playing through that whole game with that fucking annoying piece of shit lack of personality handler, the character insert is what that is. It's what every single goddamn Monster Hunter player would be like if they were introduced into that universe. Oh, incredibly deadly environment. All shiny in the distance. Full sprint towards the Odo that rips your throat out. Every single human being on this planet that enjoys this franchise. In one character. But her saying, when you're in the Shara cutscene, and she's just like, stops the tracker and is like, nah, let him go. Trust me, I've been following this fucking idiot for all this time, he's got this. And then you jump down the rocks and fight Shara. Oh. If there was no story, it wouldn't exist. It's got so much impact, man. It makes it so much more memorable. It's so much more like important and powerful, right? The hunter in Wilds, like, it's a bit memey and stuff, but the hunter in Wilds saying by my order, oh. They're not brilliant, right? But I think they do, at least for me, elevate the experience slightly. I do think they need to maybe tone it down a bit. It's the sheer amount, right? That's the problem. Like, you get a cutscene before you do a quest. Fiorane shouts Kingdom 50 times. You complete the quest, Fiorane shouts Kingdom 50 times. You get back to base, Fiorane and whatever the fucking general dude name is shout Kingdom back and forth at each other 100 times. You go on another quest, which means you have a cutscene before the quest starts. It's like, fucking stop. This is too much. For you, released in 40 hours straight stint. It's you on every Monster Hunter launch since for you. Good shit. It's good shit. Fred went to bed a couple of times before you even went to sleep. Jesus. It doesn't make up for the downsides. Somebody wants to replay them. I feel like, to me, the downsides that exist with the story mostly aren't anything to do with the story, if that makes sense. Like, obviously they're there because the story's in the game, but the downsides of, like, the walkable cutscenes and stuff, and not being able to skip the cutscenes and all that shit. Yeah, the walking sequences as well. This sounds a bit rude to say, but I think it's because Capcom doesn't know how to make a fucking story. Because they don't at least make a story fit the franchise, right? Street Fighter does it even have stories? I don't know. And DMC and what's the other game called that they do? Resident Evil. They can fit that narrative structure of mission, cutscene, mission, cutscene, mission, cutscene. It works fine for those, but that just doesn't work in Monster Hunter at all. That don't work here. But also, that's the thing with Capcom in general, right? We've talked about this a few times before. I don't know if we've talked about it specifically, Raki, but they treat the roster in Monster Hunter like it was a fighting game. Every single monster is like, bar the final boss is revealed before release. All of them get their own little segment in the trailer, you know. All of them have something about them. Like, it's been, what, 25 years or something? They still don't know how to make Monster Hunter in terms of, like, extra information. They just make Resident Evil or Street Fighter. Mostly. It's really weird. Constant pressure to continue with the story. I never feel that on a replay, at least. I don't know if you do. But whenever I'm doing a replay, I never feel anything like there's any story going on at all. Really? I'm not paying attention probably most of the time. When the cutscenes are playing, I'm doing something else. I actually don't like Wilds. I've played Wilds, and I do not think the problem is the story with logical resting points and stuff. Like, it might make you like it more, but depending on what it is that you enjoy about Monster Hunter, I think that game has a serious and I think the franchise kind of as well is having a bit of a serious identity crisis. with what it wants to be. Because it wants to be this big fight, fun, like, monsters with detailed movesets and stuff, which is what it's always been. Hard fights. But then they keep making the hunter more and more and more powerful, and we're, if not already into, we're borderline, like, Bayonetta level bullshit now, right? The amount of stuff you can do. You are playing a spectacle fighter. It's not... And the problem is, when you get to that point, you can't have the monsters be what they are, because they're not the focus anymore. It's the fact that your hunter can, with his puny little sword and shield, hold off a, you know, 50-ton shit brick house, Brachydios or something, and then launch it back into the stratosphere to get a free knockdown. It's not the focal point anymore, and it's weird. Very weird. And I hate the story in Resident Evil. It's like Kingdom Hearts, convoluted retcons, they introduce more questions and answers and pisses you off. I've never played a Resident Evil game. Actually, that's not true. I played Biohazard. I hated it. I didn't hate it. I hated the first half. It made my back hurt. I don't do well with horror. The Resident Evil games never really seemed like they were up my alley. They're definitely, something, right? Your pole dancing stuff to offset repel a mall-sized monster. Yeah, right? Like, you can't have the monsters be the main characters in terms of aesthetic for the game and the logic of the game when your hunter can do that. It doesn't work. Like, narratively or pseudo-narratively or however you want to put it, it just doesn't work. Because clearly that monster is not the main fucking character here, right? Whereas in the older games, the monster is the main character of every fight. They basically entirely dictate how the course of the fight goes. Unless you're one of the people who've got more hours in Monster Hunter than they've been alive for, somehow. And can perfectly predict every monster and what they're gonna do before they even do it. Or the monster is permanently stuck in infinite staggers and lockdowns and KOs and perfectly timed flash bombs and all that stuff, right? Quite like Wilds, despite your gripes with current gen Monster Hunter. It's the identity crisis for sure. I think Wilds gets an undue amount of hate for things that are not what people hated it for, if that makes sense. People hated it because of the way that it ran on PC. And I feel like I can at least think of a few groups of people who all at least had one person that couldn't play the game because of the problems. And it, like, dampened the experience with them, right? If you had a gaming group of 4 people, it was relatively reasonable to think that one of you could not play that game on PC because of the issues that it had. Which have been fixed as far as I can tell for the most part. along with other performance shenanigans and buffoonery that exists with that game, right? And I feel like that's completely like influenced and overwhelmed people's feelings into other parts of the game. People might have liked the roster in it or whatever, but they were like, the roster's shit because the performance is shit. It doesn't have enough monsters because the performance is bad. The story's trash because the performance is bad. And it's like, this is not helpful. As someone who suffered from perhaps some of the worst performance issues, literally kernel level crashing my computer anywhere between 30 minutes and 8 hours, would entirely crash my whole computer, I can still point out good stuff with the game, right? Small thing, but makes that game infinitely better. Walking on the corpses, like walking on the corpses instead of going inside them like balloons like this. Well, this has its own charm for fucking sure. It's hilarious as fuck. Walking on top of them, oh, what a change. So good. So good. Resident Evil 2 Remake over RE7? I think I would probably enjoy one of the more combat-focused Resident Evil games more than the horror one. I do not like horror. Surprisingly, I actually didn't have any nightmares when I played Alien Isolation. Subnautica gave me nightmares. That's how much I don't do horror. What about puzzle ones? I don't like puzzle games. Unless they're set up like an escape room, because I can do escape rooms. Puzzles frustrate me. Because I feel like there's usually a lot of normal solutions, and then to finish the puzzle, the final solution is like, you know, you had to take a crank to the broken thing to plop it onto it, to move the thing around, to get the crowbar, which you use to open the broken thing. And then you have to eat the cake to fart on your aunt so she drops her keys, which you can hit the child in the head with outside so he drops his ball he's playing with, so that it rolls in front of the car, which then crashes into the house across the road, which then allows you to finish the level. And it's like, how did we get here? We were playing with cranks and levers. This is not how this works. These are not the established rules. And that's not very fun to me. That's not very fun. We fixed the game, it wasn't even them that fixed it. Did someone else fix it? Was it not even Capcom? Has too few monsters even with good performance. I do think the roster is too small. And the thing is, it's weird, right? I think it's something about the way that the roster is introduced over the course of the game or something. I don't know what it is. Because it has a similar roster size to Base World. Base Wilds and Base World have, I think, like a 2 different roster size or something. But Wilds feels so much smaller. And that really hurts it. And I don't know why it does. It's super strange. Going inside Zamtrios when he's fat is fun. It is. Everything about Zamtrios is fun, to be fair. That monster's great. Zamtrios is fantastic. Being able to script quest completion, yeah. The fact that that isn't in the games earlier is crazy shit. Working on top of them, using a dead monster as a ledge to jump attack another monster, yeah. It's stuff like that that's just so cool, right? That I'm glad that we get new games for. Oh, balls. Wilds has more lower level and duplicate monsters compared to Base World. Even if you include the copies, it's actually relatively similar. If you count Azurelos and Pinkian as functionally Rathalos and Rathian, which I do, and count the Guardian monsters, it actually still works out to be basically the same. The thing that kills you with Resident Evil is you can handle horror, you can handle puzzles. When you combine them, you turn into a potato. That makes sense. I think that's why I can probably manage to do escape rooms. Because once you're in an escape room, you can fully, like, change your brain to be like, this is the thing and the only thing I have to do, right? Wilds monsters don't have enough character because game progression doesn't give you any time to breathe. Yeah. That might be it. That very well might be it. Which is definitely a failure of the story implementation. It's so sad, because when you think about it, I don't know if you paid any attention, even just to like the major story bits in 4U, but 4U's story is so well done. Obviously, a lot of it that would be cutscenes modern day is in text, which we hammer the fucking button through because we don't want to read 3 pages of text every single time. But 4U is so good for setting up gore. So good at setting up gore. And the rematch, or like the final showdown, I guess, against Shaggy, oh, every time feels amazing. Absolutely amazing. It was like a rival. Exactly, it was so good. When you look at Trials able to do the roster, yeah, there's something there with Wilds. And it sounds like that thing of like, haha, shit on Wilds because you can, right? But that's not the point. There's something there that I hope they figure out and can fix for the DLC. Because at the moment, I mean, I'm not getting the DLC, at least I'm not buying it for myself. I think they could add 100 monsters in the DLC, and the roster would somehow still feel small if they add them the way that they've added them in that game. It would feel small and rushed somehow. They need to figure out what it is and like tidy it up, and then they've got a great thing going, you know? Especially for the people who want to have heal strong combat. That game, like, for Mace, for example, that game hits every single fucking note that they want. The people who just want to be like a badass killing big old monsters and stuff. For You was your first and your favorite? Freedom Unite was my first game. That's not true. Freedom 2 was my first game. Fucking hell. I think my favorite switches between 3U, 4U, and World, based on how much I've played of it recently and if I am currently playing it after a long time. It's been a good chunk of time since I've done a 3U playthrough. At the moment, I'm like, this game is so good. This game is amazing. I'll play through World whenever I'm done with this save file again, and I'll be like, this is fucking brilliant. And then I'll be back on the same thing with 4U again. The endless loop. I really hope that when they, well, I really hope that they release the game, the DLC, in a playable version for people, so they can learn from that fucking mistake that they've made. 2 or 3 games in a row now? Capcom themselves, that is, not Monster Hunter specifically. But I hope it releases with good performance so they can actually get some, like, genuinely good feedback from people. Not that they will, because people don't know how to give good feedback with Monster Hunter. It would just be, like, 1,000 people with 0.1 hour on review, the word will just be peak and nothing else. Someone who's done a 17-page dissertation of the fact that his mother hates him because he plays Monster Hunter. And then just like a bunch of bitching and a bunch of like brainless praising, right? People caring too much about weapon balance. Yeah. Although, can we please nerf Longsword into the fucking ground? Also, I would like to put it on the record, I am a dual blade main, Nerf dual blades into fucking oblivion. They are way too OP. There is no challenge in playing with that weapon anymore. Obliterate it. It's for the good of the weapon. Give Greatsword elemental shelling. For fuck's sake, just do it. Nerf all of it. Yeah, nerf every weapon. Except Greatsword and Lance. And who else never gets any fucking love ever? Greatsword, Lance. Chargeblade got a ton of love in Gen 5. Hunting Horn isn't real. Just Greatsword and Lance. Just leave them powerful. Greatsword, Gun Lance, sorry. It's because there's a Greatsword on my screen. Gun Lance, not Greatsword. Gun Lance, Gun Lance. I want every quest to be 4 Gun Lances, or 4 Lances, or some combination thereof. The absolute wonderful cursed timeline that would be. We're giving infinite stamina made them gigabuff dual blades. The problem, at least the way that I see it, is the way that dual blades did good damage pre-world is that it locked itself into place with very long combos. Specifically like Demon Dance and stuff, right? But when everything became quicker in world, and henceforth with every single title, but monsters didn't really become appropriately quicker to catch up, you can finish your long-term damage dealing combos before the monster can start its next move. So as long as you have the basic sensibility to keep some degree of an eye on your stamina, you're functionally unkillable. You will always be able to dodge. Well, you see, the thing with Rise and Dual Blades, Mace, is you have an on-demand invincibility button. So it doesn't fucking matter. Dual Blades and lobotomy weapon? It is. It is. You literally don't have to think to play Dual Blades now. Other than maybe the tiniest little bit of visual peep towards your stamina bar occasionally. Which basically just doesn't drain anymore. Even then, there's monsters you can't take on, and I don't know if the monsters are necessarily the problem there, Mace. No offense, buddy, but I do agree with your point overall that Rise is too fast. but you do tend to Unga Bunga first and pay no attention second, and then think about playing the game after those two. I mean, that's the thing, though, right? You don't need to keep up with the monsters. If you're keeping up with the monsters, something has gone wrong. You should be predicting, reacting, moving around them, reacting to them. They're the monster. If you're keeping up with the monster that's the size of your average building, something has gone wrong. Mentally as well. And like pure reaction time sets. Wilds was too fast. Not Wilds. Rise was too fast. There's definitely some moves in Wilds, I do agree, where it turns into like, are you on crack cocaine? Yes, no. If no, get hit. Yeah, you could be doing nothing, right? You can be running around with your weapon sheathed. It's crazy. Wilds crank down the goddamn settings to make the monster run every 2 minutes. Do they flee a lot in that game? I don't remember. I haven't played it in ages. The only recent memory I have of monsters fleeing in that game is specifically Lagiacrus. And how much they fucked it up with that creature. Spawns all the way at the top of the map. You're almost guaranteed to do enough damage that it's going to flee all the way into its nest. Every time. And then it's going to get to its nest, turn around, immediately go underwater. Force you into the underwater section. Some monsters are best left in the past. I'll say it. I'll say it, okay? I'm sorry, N10. I'm sorry. Laggy in that game, bar the forced underwater section, and bar that big, like, long movement he does every bloody quest, I legitimately think he's actually really good. The music is nice, his moveset is nice, he's not Long Khezu. He still feels, like, legally distinct from Ivory. He's got an on-land moveset that's not dog shit. If they had made it so that the underwater felt a little bit more like swimming through soup rather than swimming through space, and they, you know, actually had underwater stuff, it's nearly there to actually be a good modern day Lagiacrus. Are the 4 scripted segment and the other essentially 4 segment? Yeah. So bored of scripted segments? Yeah. Scripted segments in the fights are terrible. There is one time in which they should do it, and it makes sense to do it. And it's for the, either the siege fights, which is like Lao Shenlong, Zora Magdaros, Shen Gaoren, Duran, Zhen Moran, functionally Ibushi as well. All of those, right? The siege fights and the what I would call spectacle fights, which is Kalamada, Charish, Valda, Nawa, Guys McGorm, Wizard of Space and Time, Zoshia, all of those a lot. It makes sense for those fights, like final story bosses and stuff, to have big zoom out cutscene, oh shit, big move stuff, right? Thank God Siege parts on it I can try. Oh yeah, it's so bad. Try was terrible. You know what was also terrible? World Sieges. That's what it was like. You could not fight Jean Moran in Try unless there was a sandstorm in-game. The quest just didn't exist. It's stupid, yeah. It's the same way that World works with Safi Siege and Cool Event Quest. It's just dumb. Where it's like, wrong week, guess you can't farm the fucking armor you wanted, dummy. You liked World Alatreon? I like World Alatreon. I personally would change some stuff about it. Because I think it's healthier from an overall, like, perspective, in my opinion. I would buff the amount of damage that Elemental does, so that Elemental becomes the meta option. Thus feeds into the cycle in which the game wants you to do to make the Escatons happen and all that stuff. So that people still want to do it because it's still the highest damage thing, which is always what people are going to gravitate towards no matter what you do, right? But I would also change it so that you don't have to get at least one Eschaton to survive the blast. You don't have to get one shutdown. I think the reward for elemental weapons should be that you take less damage from the Eschaton. You get the big knockdowns where you get to do tons of damage. They innately do more damage in of themselves. And if you get enough shutdowns, you basically just get to wail on him while he pretends to do his Eschaton in the middle of the arena. And you're like, no. I don't think your reward should be that you get to play the quest without carting. Because while it's doable, I've done it myself. You do not need to bring element to win that fight. You can do it completely elementless. I did it with fucking Pookie equipment, for Christ's sake. It's not fun. Damn, I don't think I could pull that off ever again, to be honest with you. I do not know how I did that. I do not understand. The fight wasn't fun for you as Ancient Lashin. Ancient Lashin's terrible. Ancient Lashin and Behemoth were both really bad. You never did those, only heard bad things about it. Ancient Leshen has an attack that looks very similar to every single one of its other attacks. Where if you don't react in genuinely like half a second, you die. You get stuck in the ground and you die. Slowly as well. Unless you're in multiplayer and other people come over and like bust you out of the vines or whatever, or just life powder and dust the ever-loving shit out of you, you just die. It's really, really poorly done. I think you can survive it if you're in the zombie gear. The like max defense, life regens past full health. Or past the red bar. Full recovery speeds. All of that stuff, that full build. But then you run into the zombie build for the rest of the fight, which means you do fuck all damage and you probably just lose because you don't do enough damage. Behemoth drops, you end up being stuck with Final Fantasy music. Yep. I would love to know how many people that happened to. It definitely happened to one of my characters. Because I started it after a long time and was like, I don't really remember this, and then I did it and was like, oh yeah. Huh. I get Joe immediately after this, right? We might be doing some multiplayer today. The environment leveling, area exclusive material farming, the guiding lands. You love the idea of it. Yeah. I am 100% online with you in that exact same wording. I love the idea of leveling the environments and stuff, but the execution was not very good. If I have to pick an endgame out of all of the endgames that exist, I would pick the Guiding Lands. I think it's the most fun one. But I also think they fucked it. There should be no level cap, right? It's just a no-brainer. There shouldn't be a level cap, and some of the areas should have a better variety of monsters. Almost specifically the coral, I think, is the really bad one early. Like, the only thing that can show up is Sitsuyaku, and it just sucks. But once again, the Monster Hunter community did what the Monster Hunter community does best. It bitched and whined a whole bunch and then never gave any constructive feedback. And now Guiding Lands as an idea is probably in the bin forever. Although somehow the Clutch Claw came back, so... maybe fucking not, who knows anymore. Now people love it so much you find it obnoxious. There's parts of it. This is the thing with every community, right? Is you only pay attention to the bits that you've been exposed to. As someone who played a lot online on 3DS, so on 4U specifically, I have been very well aware of how much the community kind of sucks for a long time. But there is a lot of people who are genuinely very nice, very supportive, willing to help people learn, figure their way out around the game and stuff, right? Explain that it's difficult and all this. There's a lot of them. I think, in general, we need a bit of a wake-up call to, I guess, gamers as a whole, which is, if you are doing endgame or post-game content, aka you're playing at the maximum difficulty that you possibly can, and you're having a wee bit of a struggle, shut the fuck up, right? If you're playing on the hardest possible difficulty and the game is too difficult for you, guess what? No shit! I really want basically every developer at this point to make a more difficult game option for the people who constantly complain about games being too easy that's functionally just fucking impossible. Just in everything. World too easy for you? Here's a Fatalis that has like max possible health, as high as the integer will allow. It moves twice as quick. If you kill it, it drops one dung bomb. Go away, have fun, shut up, leave the rest of us to be able to actually have a proper balancing discussion. And the people who complain about stuff being too easy at the drop of a hat, like... If you're in post-game, it's meant to be hard, because it's the post-game. The door won't shut when the fire breath attack comes. Just becomes impossible to complete if you've got more than one player. Basically, that would be so good. That would be like the funniest mod change to that quest to me. When he does his first breath and you're hiding under the like the molten metal, that all of it falls on you and just burns you to death. Instead of you standing underneath the metal that's just like however fucking hot and just like, eh, whatever. Great anti-cheat, yeah, definitely. Paizo Monster Hunter World. I think there's validity in complaining about a game being too easy when you are playing what is meant to be like the hardest stuff in the game and it's still too easy, right? To a degree. But also, I swear to God, every time the people who complain about it are running the most meta shit possible. And it's like, well, yeah, no wonder you're finding it too easy. You're using best in slot gear. Do it with like worse stuff, you know? Amount of shenanigans and clip you see of things dealing with that door, hilarious. That door is so good for like content, as it were. That door is phenomenal. I've had some great stuff with that door as well. I've been the one to pull the lever and like look at someone running towards me and just be like, I'm sorry, you're not making it, and just rip it up in front of their face. It's so fantastic. Whilst when a hero dives, someone shouts it 1 second before everyone gets burned to death. The same, they're so good. I love it. I love it so much. It's so fun. That's amazing. You need to play online more, you only really play solo. I think I've had a lot of good moments in playing online. I think it was with Commie, but I can't remember. I have one that always comes to mind in 4U, where we were doing a Rajang hunt with greatswords, and me and I think it was Commie, where we both simulcharged onto the sleeping head, hit it, it woke up, both our back charges went off at the same time as well, also hit it in the head, and then we both did round swings at the exact same time, and those round swings killed it. So, oh, well, you have really good moments like that in online. I think there's more game in the game when you don't play online, though. When you do play solo. Because it does become ludicrously easy. Even with the new, like, health scaling systems and stuff. Monsters get flinched too easy. The split attention makes it so you never really have to worry about, like, ever being focused down at any point. Life powders are crazy OP if you think about it. Remote healing from across the arena from someone else as you're about to die is busted as fuck. There's a lot more, like, actually fighting the monster in solo, so I prefer to play solo as well. It's a sad reality of the older games, 3U, 4U, and before. And GU, I guess. Because they don't have that health scaling system. If you have 4 people in the lobby, Unless it's a really, like, hyper late game monster, no fight is a fight anymore. Everything is a slaughter. It takes away a lot of the fun. Solo's how you get genuinely good? Yeah. Yeah, because you actually have to fight the monster. Online takes away from impact. You didn't know what armor skills were until G ranking for you because you got carried. You don't need to know, right? If you're getting carried. I definitely agree with that, though. With World and Wilds, the ease of access to online and, like, SOSing and people joining your quests for free and all that stuff, it's definitely, I feel, made the average skill level kind of go down quite a lot. Which is a real bummer. Solo's easier as well. Once you're actually good enough at the point where you can solo something, you do realize that it is actually the easier way to play, yeah. Because predictability is king. Was bad pre-SOS? You don't think that changed much? I think it got worse. At least personally. My experience with it has got worse from a purely, like, cognitive bias standpoint. I feel like it got worse. And to be fair, it should get worse. Because I imagine for a lot of the old games, probably genuinely from, like, Freedom Unite to GU, most of the people who are, or Generations, not GU, most of the people who are playing them played the previous game. But World had a huge new influx, right? Of people who had no idea how the game worked at all. So it makes sense that it got worse. Wait, is it funny cutscene time? It is funny. No, that's not funny cutscene time. Maybe Devil Joe's funny cutscene. Oh no, it is now. Surprised these guys never came back. I think the court of public opinion ruled that felines, cats, are cuter than shakalakas, which are basically small goblins. So the felines won out, right? Something I will say, this does not exist anymore, man. Freedom Unite. Free you. For you. Intro opening cutscene. Even if this one is the meme version. They are just fucking magical, man. The ecology is so good. Oh. Oh, so good. Hello, Oni. Pleasure to have you. How are you? We're in the slew SOS, the randoms were new people. Exactly. And at that point, like, it's not their fault, right? They need to learn, and they need to learn by playing the game, so it should get, like, worse. But I feel like it stayed worse in a way. Which is unfortunate. I fucking love this game, man. Ryu is so good. Oh. I might not have the new Monster Hunter games, man. But fuck me, I will have 3U, 4U, and World forever. No, Poogie! You have the goofy ones like Kuro and Jaggies, the two Uragan bumping into each other, destroying the landscape. Yeah, they're funny. They are good. I beat it, you step out for a moment, the game ended, yep. I have one more quest to do in Village, and then Village is over. And Village is where cutscene, when credits play, so... Thank God they never used the stupid crystals from 4. The Y stones. Thank fuck the Y stones never returned. Yeah, egg quest. You can do it, buddy. Unlock that Crimson Fatalis and 4U. These credits are long. These credits are long. They are long credits. 4U will always hit right for you pretty wild. World is still your favorite. I think if you really like look and go off of vibes, I guess, to unfortunately use a terrible phrase for explaining things in a good way. 4U and World have a lot of like shared DNA at its base, at its core. They're obviously very different experiences because of the way they've been made and the way that the weapons work and stuff and all of that. But I feel like at their core, they feel similar in a way. It's the adventure. The adventure of traveling through all the different villages and with the boat and stuff and doing all of that and the adventure of worlds. Do I like Frontier? Yes and no. I have played Frontier. I have played Frontier up to, for the most part, Zenith 1/2s. I think Frontier has some of the highest highs in the entire franchise. When I beat Elzelion, not Muso, just normal Elzelion for the first time, fuck me, did I feel fucking amazing. I felt like a god amongst my peers. I was indestructible that day. However, the 100 attempts on Elzelion before that it took for me to be able to get to a win was the most heartless, desperation-filled, depression-filling, soul-crushing, ball-busting misery ever. The farm in that game is equivalent to, like, it will be ruled in 50 years' time by the courts of the world that this constitutes as, like, a crime against humanity. The amount of farm you have to do in that game is unconscionable. Like, you go to prison if you do that anymore at that point. It is disgusting. But it has some good stuff. It does have some good stuff in Frontier. I like a lot of the monsters. A lot of the monsters are very neat. Hello, Gatchels. Frontier had gacha. What a game. What a game. I really love how those credits cycle through both the screens, by the way. It's so cute that they cycle up on the bottom screen, then go on to the top screen. It's just nice. Back then you couldn't pay up? Back then? Oh, no, 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 no. No, 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 Odie. The gacha in Frontier was exclusively paid. A lot of that stuff you couldn't earn. Frontier was the most pay-to-win piece of shit you've ever seen. I've thankfully only ever played on Rain as well, but I've heard all the horror stories. Wasn't aware if it had any monetization at all. I can give you the best example of this. So the way that Frontier worked is you had to pay for a subscription, right? To be able to play the game in the first place, because it was a server-based thing, it's online, it's an MMO, that's relatively normal, you know? That's typically understood thing. And like the modern Monster Hunter games, they did a good thing. Unlike the port here, where if you want to get restock, you have to go back into your house. They eventually updated the game and added so that there was a box right next to the departure thing, so that you could sort your items out there, like there is here, right? However, if you wanted to use that box, you had to pay more money for it. Otherwise, you would cancel your quest, run back to your house, go to the box in your house, get your stuff, go back to the fucking quest counter. It was a separate fucking plan. If you paid more money, you basically got like 2 or 3 extra free calves every single hunt, maybe even more than that. So literally had to do half the amount of hunts if you just paid them more money. Bearing in mind this is the game that a singular upgrade to one weapon requires 5 Shiguru Magala plates. 5? It was fucked. It was fucked. ESO as well. That sounds about right. Make a problem, sell the solution. Classic, yeah. The endpoints, yeah, which you can only get if you paid for another plan and then played specifically in net cafes. Which allowed you to just straight up buy materials instead of having to farm for them, based on the amount of time that you played in the net cafe for. I think, if I'm not mistaken, potentially per day, with the point timer for maximum points going up to 12 hours, I believe. It's changed to be per week, but I think it was per day. I'm not sure though. That might be incorrect. That game was fucked. That game was fucked. It's a lot better now than it is than like that, thankfully. Thanks to the community servers and stuff, but not good. Not good. Thank you, Lion. I appreciate you being here and having the chat. I hope you have a good rest of your day, sleep, whatever it is you're getting up to. Where do my dog bombs go? I just made them. There they are. These stack at 10. Yeah, they do. You tuned into a couple of Monster Hunter Outlander streams. That was the new one, right? Is that out yet, or is it still like demo stuff? Oh my, Mabinogi? I've never heard of that. If you even wanted to play the game, you had to pay so you could further level characters and have a class. Oh god. It's a mobile game. It's in beta. Open beta? Only a portion. Yeah. Mostly NA because I hate EU. Yep. That sounds about right. What's the What's the verdict, Tony? Does it potentially look like it could use some work, perchance, still? It needs some updates and stuff. Most of these people are just on the bandwagon. They don't really play Monster Hunter. That sounds about right, yeah. Is it, by any chance, a lot of the people in the Monster Hunter... No, not sorry. The Capcom Creators Club on Twitch? Yep. Why am I not surprised? A few things you've seen like this visually look shit. Either that, or they have to keep settings on low because it's not $1 million phone, yeah. I remember when the trailer footage released, and the trailer footage was lagging. Which is not, like, that's not a good sign, right? This isn't how it looked when Capcom showed it. I mean, we've all learned from E3 there, though, right? I know E3 doesn't exist anymore, but we learned our lessons from E3, surely. Surely we learned our lessons, right? Yeah? Right? I tried to join that Capcom's creator thing at some point, by the way. I'm like, I play a lot of Monster Hunter. I might not play the other things, but like, I'm willing to try a few of them. I'll have a look into it and just see if I can join it, because it seems like interesting. I think you have to live in the US to join it. If you want to apply, at least, maybe if you're invited, it's different, but I think if you want to apply, you have to live in the United States. Which is, like... I guess Capcom doesn't exist outside of Japan and the US, like the rest of the world, though? Okay. You know someone who is British and still got it? Yeah, I think if you're invited, rather than, like, ask, potentially, I don't know. If you have nepotism on your side, potentially, then it works, right? Very strange. Very, very strange. I'm glad I did it. Because I'm pretty sure I would have been kicked out at this point. They don't care to add people who love Capcom. I mean, I think the people who do marketing are cottoned on enough to know that if you give access to that thing to a bunch of Monster Hunter players, that the Monster Hunter players are probably going to be like, this is shit, right? But if you give it to a bunch of, if you give it to a bunch of people who've never heard of Monster Hunter before and sell them on like, yeah, you just go fight big monsters and all this stuff, right? And pick all the people whose personality is functionally built around the fact that they are the human equivalent of the physical word joy. and there is nothing else behind their eyes at all, then from a marketing perspective, that works a lot better. We know many who never played Monster Hunter and they got free copies of Rise, yeah. Just target people, big audiences, mostly positive. And regardless of what your game is, it doesn't matter, it will work better than targeting anyone who's already in the space. There's no point, right? Like, genuinely. If you give a person who streams Monster Hunter a free copy of the game, they're gonna stream it to the Monster Hunter audience who are probably all gonna buy it anyway. From a business standpoint, from a metric standpoint, that doesn't do anything. That's useless for them, right? Me and Oni know, we've talked about it before. Every motherfucker who complained about Wilds in every single possible stretch of existence that they complained about it in, the second that DLC trailer drops, they are going to be full-on max power jerking it in their rooms in that instant, and they'll buy it on release day, right? So giving codes to people who are just going to buy the game anyway doesn't really make a lot of sense to push your market to more people. That content was very Nintendo. It was likely Nintendo being trying this over Capcom. Fair enough. Rise had that 1 year on Switch. Yeah. You're over it, yeah. We just know it's true, at least. You'd rather get denied than have to sell out. Yeah. I will never in my life be sponsored, which I'm thankful for in a way. Because I do not have the reach, nor the audience, nor the ability to not have opinions. But if I ever did, the stipulation would have to be that I can say what I think. I would not be able to do one of those like shitty ad reads that people do, where it's this like 3 lines of dialogue that you just have to read verbatim, other than an insert word here part. I could never do that. It's so non-genuine. Unless I was allowed to take the piss out of it, maybe. I feel like they wouldn't appreciate that, though. Prediction expansion trailer releases, everyone gets hyped. Releases, everyone gets hyped. Initially enjoys, a month later, people will nitpick, criticize everything, compare against previous ones, make it out to be the worst ever. Yep. Also, all of the people who do that have left negative reviews on Monster Hunter Wilds. They don't like it, they said it was terrible, they'll never buy a Capcom product ever again. They pre-ordered the DLC. Yeah, right. 5 years down the line, it will be looked back on and praised for how good it was. So I'm sure some aspects of it will be. that was too long of a thing, Kay. I'm sure the DLC will be. I'm sure the DLC will be. The only thing, if people can remember one thing, all I want people to remember is how much of a fucking travesty high rank was. Because Capcom should not be allowed to do that again. It will be forgotten. It will immediately be forgotten. High rank was a disaster. You know what I will remember? I think low rank in that game was really good. I think that game had a good low rank. And I, at least, enjoyed the story, even though most people don't. The story, basically. I think the low rank did a good job at introducing monsters in a way that at least made them interesting. It's just the gameplay that made it so that the introductions of the monsters fell apart. At least in my opinion. It didn't do the best job, but it did a pretty good job at introducing monsters. A lot of it's bolstered by the fact that a lot of the monsters are xenotypes, I wanted to say. Skeletons that we've like not seen before, right? New Adra, MH3U. I don't know if Ufduna is new, but like I've not seen that shit before. I don't feel like a great Jaggy, I guess. That fight was very unique. You ever had any thought on how low rank high rank was? Didn't change the game for you, you kind of overlooked it. I think how progression in a game feel does a lot for the sake of everything in the game. I was saying this earlier, actually. I don't know, you weren't here because you were cleaning, like a good person. One of the reasons why I feel like Wild's roster feels so small, despite the fact we've had this conversation before, right, Tony? It's basically the same size as World. I think part of the reason why it feels so small is because of the fact that high rank is so rushed that it doesn't feel like anything new gets introduced, even though it does. Yankatku, Blangonga. It doesn't feel like there's anything new because it's so like, move the fuck on. This isn't important, move on. We're done. Right? And I think that makes the roster feel smaller. Even though it's like the same size. Whereas World through high rank, it's not a lot, but it does make a big a big deal out of like slowly introducing you to Pinkian, to the Three Elders, to Xeno. You have the new locale in high rank. Notice them more when you're on your second playthrough, yeah. Yeah, someone mentioned that earlier, of the story in that game really feels like it pushes you as well, compared to older titles, where you're allowed to kind of like chill in a rank for a while. And you have to do a few hunts and whatnot before you're allowed to move on. It feels like every single thing you do is like, now we desperately need to do the next thing. There's never a moment of calm. But I do think that's one of the things that makes it hurts the roster. Even if the size doesn't change, it makes it feel smaller, because you spend less time with each monster. Hopefully something they improve upon in the DLC. Hopefully amongst all of the non-feedback, they did actually get some feedback. Somewhere in there, somehow. I think so. I suppose monsters. I think the problem is, what I said earlier, and I stand by it as well, is if they keep the pace the same as it is now, I think they could add 100 monsters to that game, and it would still feel like the roster is way smaller than it is. If they keep up this like endless constant push and rushing past things, and it's not given time to kind of stew and sit there. Because the reality of something isn't as important as how something feels, right? As ludicrous as that sounds, when it comes to games, very much specifically, something can be the most mechanically amazing thing in human history, like it has the deepest mechanics ever. And they work really well, and they're all amazingly intricately linked to each other. If the game never fucking explains that and has no tooltips that show you that at any point ever, it feels shit, right? It doesn't matter. Because you don't know any of it's doing anything. So it just feels bad. And you can't figure out why stuff isn't working, and it's because everything is all linked together. Monster Hunter's never been strong on story. Not really, no. However, I will stick by. I do think, bar the forced walking cutscenes, which are just glorified fucking cutscenes, I do think that Wilds was probably the best one we've had so far. I still don't think it was good. But I do think we are going in an upwards direction. Actually, we're kind of ping-ponging. 4U is probably the best one we've had, and I do think 4U's was actually good. So that's like the high point. And then World went down. Rise went absolutely into the bin. I suppose World went down, Sunbreak went up a bit. Base Rise story broke the chart with how bad it was. Sunbreak went up a bit, but not by much. Wilds went up to above, I would say Sunbreak, Iceborne at least. So like mainline games at least are getting better stories, I think. Aside from stories, I don't know if I can give it the stories, to be honest. At least personally. I haven't played the third one, so maybe there's something there. But I can't deal with the fucking exact same plot potentially 3 times in a row basically now. Rathalos born from egg, person who has Rathalos egg save worlds. Rathalos goes crazy at some point. Maybe kills a bunch of people. Probably vaguely about halfway around the story. We get it back, it gets kidnapped. We get it back. Turns out the Rathalos was good all along, despite the fact it was a portent of disaster. And it was actually the other thing that was bad. That's then the final story boss. It was cookie cutter the exact same from stories 1 and 2. And 3 at least opened like it was going to be the same, just with a little bit of spice of kingdom sprinkling on top this time. Hopefully it diverges. That's 2 Rathalos. Oni. Important question. Which I think I've asked you before, but in the moment I cannot remember. You've finished the game, right? You're done with it? Almost, kinda. You're on the last boss. Fuck. Okay. Then you cannot answer my question. You're at the very end. I wanted to know something that you don't care about spoilers, actually, do you? You're a spoilerless caring person. No, I know the post-game doesn't exist. I have been informed that potentially, at literally no point whatsoever, are you allowed to remove Ratha from your party? Oops, it was actually the other monster as a Monster Hunter story trope at this point. I don't mind it as a Monster Hunter story trope. It's a bit silly when you know it's coming every time, right? I actually don't think they did that with Wilds, which is fun. They still did it in a way, but it wasn't in the exact same way, so it was at least a little bit more interesting, which I can appreciate at least. But in a game called Monster Hunter Stories, you don't get to tell the exact same fucking story twice. It's pluralized. Multiplicative. Stories multiple. Stories singular retold. That's what makes it unacceptable. Also, didn't this game basically start that trope of oops, it was actually serious? Monster Hunter 1 story was basically, bitch, you're poor, and you're a slave to this village. Fuck off. Freedom 2 was basically just like personal revenge on Tigrex, right? I don't really remember. You thought Gen 2 had it with Rathian and Kashala? I didn't play DOS, so I don't know. In theory, it's true. When you finish the game, you can't continue. You get taken back to your last save. Throughout the game, you can never remove Rafa, so it would be correct. That is dog shit. It genuinely, like, single-handedly... It's silly, because it shouldn't, but single-handedly removes so much desire of mine to play that game. Because something I really like to do is to build my own team. I understand that, like, that little shithead's got to be there for, like, the final battle and stuff. But when I'm doing the post-game that they're adding with title updates, the Crown Monsters or whatever they were called, and I still have to have that fucking piece of shit Skyrat in my party. That is aggravating. Got bored out of your brain when you got to CDS. CDS really, really relies on you being... I don't know if emotionally invested is necessarily the right thing to say, but invested into the story in some way, shape, or form. And then allowing yourself to be swept up by the music and the feeling and the general vibes of the fight to be able to get past phase 1. After that, it's actually a fight and it's fine, but phase 1 is trash. It is terrible. Monster Hunter's always been the same bland idea of monsters bad, cull them. I don't know if it really is here. Like, bad to a degree, I suppose, but it's not like they're bad. It's just like they're accidentally in the wrong place, usually. Like, specifically, they're going to destroy the village is the issue in this one. Well, we're going to get a little bit multi in here. French fan number 1, if people want to join for some multiplayer. Anything that is obtainable in high rank is fine in terms of equipment. Now that, I will say, is flat out a fucking lie. That's some bullshit. Unless you're talking about GU Lao, which is not Lao. Lao doesn't have the shitty underwater mechanic. I cannot disagree with you more there. There we go. Lobby is up. You said what you said. You're allowed to be wrong, it's fine. Had I not done a key quest? I thought I'd done all the key quests. There's wind pressure on his steps. Oh god, I forgot about that. The Bayo and the... The Baleful and the Jade. Okay. Hot drinks. I think that's all I need. Hello, Enter. You will say you'd rather do Cedius over Sappy? Only what in the fuck? Your ranking is that Lao Shenlong, Mr. walks for 40 minutes, you can fail the quest if you do too much damage, because he flinches too much, doesn't make it to the final area, so he never repels, is better than Cedius, because you have to swim for a bit, and otherwise it's just boring for a while, but then is a normal fight, which is better than Sappy Jiva, which has annoying fucking siege mechanics, but is a great fight and has fantastic music at least. What are you talking about? You will die on this rock. I don't think that's a rock. I think that's a pebble. There ain't a mountain. I love you, Oni, I do. But that is the most unhinged shit I've had in a hot moment. I don't go on Reddit. I have brain cells. The only time I end up on Reddit is when I'm trying to find some obscure solution to some fucking problem that for some reason is only fixed in one Reddit post in like 5 years of history and absolutely nowhere else, and then I get in, get out. Use IGN. That's how you get the obscure problems that no one's ever had before. Listening to fucking IGN. Why are you pinging? Was that an accident? That might have been an accident. Do you not like Safety, Oni? Why don't you like Safety? I know we can't do it, but in the hypothetical that we can remove Safi from his siege mechanics, do you like Safi? Because I'll be the first to admit those siege mechanics are fucking dog shit, man. As someone who is typically a solo player, ugh. The hunt itself is the most diabolical, obnoxious, boring hunt in any game. Really? I thought his hunt was great. Okay, important question. Have you farmed it to the absolute death? Because someone either wanted to farm it with you, or you wanted to farm it yourself. Or you've helped a million people get the fucking armor set that everyone wanted. Beam, put swipe, beam. I mean, if you want to look at it this way, this guy's basically just like 3 moves, right? Jump. Ball projectile. Neck slap. You farmed it a lot because you was required to for gear. You was required? Yeah, I think that's probably hurt your opinion of it a lot. At least to a good degree. Anytime anyone farms something to fucking death that they don't really enjoy a lot, they get a lot worse of opinion of it. I love that fight, man. I think that fight's great. The siege sucks. It's shit. Fight singular is fine. Aggro mechanics shouldn't have been in that fight. I can agree to that. I can definitely agree to that one. Combination of them makes it miserable. That's really weird. I actually really like that fight. I like that the aggro mechanic at least does something fun with the music as well, instead of Behemoth where it's just fucking annoying. Simply do not enjoy it. Huh. Does Omega have an aggro mechanic? Worst hunt in world? Zora Magdaros? No? Literally do nothing for 11 minutes. Final Fantasy mods though. Sappy was like you'll do. I mean, the reason Sappy does it is because you're the one doing the most damage, right? So it does make sense to a degree. He wants to kill the person who's hurting him the most. But I do understand what you mean. Disagree when you find yourself getting it 9 times out of 10? You'd argue he wasn't always doing the most. Who was you hate those you hunt with? I'm relatively sure it's people who are doing the most damage to it. But also I think it's actually something not many people know somehow, but you can yoink the aggro as well. Just no one ever does it. If you jump on the face and slinger burst him, he gets aggro to you instead. Or like, yeah, if you, yeah, slinger burst, I don't, whatever it's called, where you try and shoot him, basically. Because I would always get the aggro when I was playing with my friends. Because I was dual blades and he was gun lance. But gun lance is a lot more suited for tanking, so he would always yoink it. It's Behemoth and Migi, you get aggro by hitting the head, yeah. Yeah, so you can, like, intentionally not get it. As opposed to, whoever's doing the most damage. I wonder if it's not whoever's doing the most damage, but the more damage you do, the more the chance becomes that you get it. That would be interesting if anyone ever manages to find out the specifics of how that works. So he's mainly on the legs and the tails to break. Same. Tail has really high damage though, so to be fair, you might be doing the most damage, especially tenderized. Disagree you would do more than someone using heavy banger. Depends what they're doing. Because I'm relatively sure that a lot of his damage zones for ranged are kind of trash, actually. If I recall correctly, I might not. Ever since we got those in-game descriptions, we don't fucking have the thingy ones anymore. It's so annoying. At least as far as the game gives you information, you only do good damage to its wings with ranged. Who knows how useful that information is, because it's not actually like hit zone information, but... And it doesn't tell you the information on his body either. What monster are we talking? Safi. Oh, is that actual hit zone information that I just saw? Its body hit zone for ranged is free. Its back is free. Its chest is free as opposed to 20 on its chest. For melee, for example. So if who you're playing with isn't aiming very well, depending on what type of ammo they're using, they might not be doing any fucking damage. Hind legs is equivalent with melee. Wings are better, they're 45. %90 of the time, you know you play the game a lot. I mean, this is the thing. If you're playing with the same person, they're consistently like using pierce through the body, and they're hitting 3 hit zones and 7 freeze on body and freeze on chest. It will be consistent because they're doing no fucking damage, right? The fact that you get it 90% of the time, if anything, speaks to the fact that it does exist more than the fact that it doesn't. Because you are consistently taking aggro, rather than the fact that it's random. Oh, I do have my urgent, okay. But you're a slow greatsword user? Yeah, but it's not based on the singular damage. Or it's not based on, like, even, like, average DPS. It's just whoever has the most damage at the moment that he decides to get aggro, right? And that's the thing with greatsword. If it's just poorly timed consistently enough, everyone's DPS might be higher than yours overall, but as long as you're keeping somewhat par, and then you get a massive chunk right as he gets pissed off, you've got the most damage all of a sudden, right? Because your one hit is like 15 hits of any other weapon. So you get 3 good one hits in a row, and then miss 5 hits. The amount of hits it takes for everyone to catch up, you've done the most damage at that point in time. It doesn't matter. You hate that so much. It's pre-Alatreon when you were dog shit. Well, maybe the people you were playing with were dog shit as well, because it was also pre-Alatreon. Alatreon made people get a lot better at that game, or quit. Or complain a lot until people carried them. Just a normal summer sentence right there. Everyone used ice on Tino because the same said ice and water is good, despite water being better, but everyone goes ice. Good times. I just take whichever one I have a better version of. I don't care what's actually better, I just do what the game tells me. If water and ice are both 3-star and I have a better ice weapon, I'm bringing ice. You take blast because Greysword. You don't even, you take raw, really. Blast is secondary, right? It's just a really good raw damage Greysword as well. Thank you. Da, 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 da. Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, his hit zones, if you're using Pierce, are fucking terrible for ranged. Unless you are nailing your shots through his wings. Head does like equivalent damage to melee. At least when it's unbroken, it gets significantly worse once it's broken. His nose is significantly worse for ranged. I did not know this. Ranged is ass against him unless you use element. Huh? It is genuinely fucking terrible. That's crazy. Unless you hit the wings. 45 hit zone. Whee. Oh. Something fun land today. There's ads on Twitch for the UK election? What? What the fuck? Whose bright idea was that? Bottom line is you never need to hunt it again. True endgame on all three, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you, you never need to hunt it anyway. When the game was live, yeah, sure, fair. But once all the title updates have come out, you don't need to do Sappy. He ain't relevant. Even if you play through it again. Like, you have to... The fuck? You ain't meant to be home. Hello. Came home mega early.
Yeah, correct.
Oh yeah? Why is that? Oh yeah. Yeah, that makes sense then. Nice.
There you go.
Yeah. Nice. Good. You're free. It's your weekend.
Weekend.
Yes.
Oh my god. Never been patriotic as a bank holiday.
You always like to get the armor and the aqua shot. Hey. You, mister, have no one to blame there but your fucking self, okay? If you don't like the fight and you still put yourself through the farm, that doesn't make the fight worse. Although I will say, the way the weapons in that fight work is dog shit. You doing the fight doesn't make the fight any better. No, that's true, but you overdoing the fight does make it worse in your opinion. It always does for everyone, always. People who don't really like it or are neutral opinion on it, who then spam it because they want to farm part of the equipment, it makes the fight worse. Because not only is it something you didn't really enjoy or were completely neutral on in the first place, you forced yourself to go through it all, and it sucks. Hey, hell dimes because I hate you. I don't hate you. I just hate hell dimes. That's not true. I hate live service. Live service is a blight. That's not necessarily true either. It's my anathema. Anathema? I don't know how you say that. Thanks. I've been recovery shotted. None of those ways? Neither of those ways? What is it then? I bet you play when I'm streaming. And then I stop and you come off. What do you mean?
Anathema.
Anathema? Fuck you. That's so wrong. I'm gonna say anathema. I don't like that. Anathema? One of us actually gets hurt in a second.
I'm gonna bruise this one.
Yeah. You're gonna have bruises fucking anyway.
This week?
This week is not a celebration.
That's like 2 weeks, I think. Not that I'm aware of anyway. Lord knows I might have the one back at my knee and I just don't look. Some fucking...
Yeah. Some paradoxical bruiser.
Armpits. I was even lifting heavy things in an awkward position, so I really should have had some on my forearm. But
You've become too resistant.
Yes.
Become bruise resistant.
I'm strong now, or something, I guess. Calloused forearms.
I was gonna say, would you be strong at that point, or would you be hardy?
Be hard.
I hope not.
Look at me lick this everything. Ah!
Sounds about right, honestly.
Got a bench press.
I don't see that happening. I am a chonky monkey. Going on with the one punch man routine. It only works if all your hair falls out though. Anathema? It just seems wrong. It's so nice to have you back early, my dear. So good to have you home. Seems wrong because I've been saying it wrong the whole time. It's just not how you... It doesn't look like how you should pronounce that. I don't feel like that's the normal way in which the cadence of word flows. In English. I know English is like fucking made up, but N is a common frequency. It's an. No. Enable? What? Enable? Enable? What?
Enabling.
Oh. Oh, thank you. Yeah, but it's an A. It's not an N. I'm sure Famer is a word as well in fucking Latin or whatever it is, but I've never heard Famer by itself for it to become, or Fema, I suppose, for it to become Anna of the thing. Or Athema? It's not something I've ever heard. It's a very archaic word though, so it's probably some like old English hangover that doesn't exist anymore. It sounds how you read it. That's how I read it. I've never heard that word said out loud before. That's just how I translate it in my head, would be anathema. Or anathema. I never would have got to anathema. From ancient Greek, yeah. Mine sounds weird, the other one sounds weird. Language is a shared delusion of arbitrary noises that we ascribe meaning to that actually don't mean anything at all anyway, so, really, I can just pretend that it's correct. I've only had it a few times. You've had it, like Oni. Where would you have had it? But like the most likely place that you and the most likely source you've heard it from is the Americans, though. And they say everything wrong. Yep. I was actually more imagining it to be one of the wives rather than one of the brothers, to be honest. That seems like something that would be said at some point on medical land. Oh, the camera jiggle. I sound like I'm putting more emphasis than is needed. Fair enough. My very easy solution to this is just to stop using the word instead of correcting it. I like that word, it's a shame. It's a shame it's wrong. Something we use it on a daily basis. It has been finding a more commonplace home in my linguistic diction, I'm not gonna lie. Just because I enjoy it. At least until I get bored of it, and then it will be moved back into the halls of random words I have remembered and then don't use anymore. Like ornery. Big fan of ornery. Don't use it that much anymore. Masticate is always a fun one to get people to do a double take. Sure there's some others, but I can't think of them right now. No, I did not. Attention and wanting to do things is crashing again. No! Another word I guess you don't use daily, no. Masticate is to chew. But it's a fun one to throw in there sometimes to get that exact reaction. People be like, sorry? I wasn't paying attention. Hey, nice. He doing a limp. You doing to disappear? Wait. Hey, we got the back. Nice. Good stuff. We're both up to HR5. Only one more rank to go. And then G awaits. Horrifying. Good shit. Hello, Mouse. Welcome back. How was your arcade time? Your quest, Center. Glacial Agnac. Forgot your little pass that lets you log into your save. That's a bummer. They have that? That's amazing. Da, da, da. You recruited your buddy, you played Street Fighter 4, Smash, other 2-player games. Cool. Improvise, good time. Nice. Ooh. And he said he'd like to learn fighting games. Oh no. Mace, what have you done? Another poor soul lost. What have you done? Guess what you said? You were a good friend and you said, don't do it. It's not worth it. You said guilty gear. You've betrayed your friend. That's funnier. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum. That probably wouldn't be a great idea. It'd be amazing to watch. That sounds like you just want to watch mates get beat up. What the hell? Oh, you have going for you as well. I mean, depending on how much, different weight classes exist for a reason, right? It is transformative. Yeah, one weight class probably wouldn't be enough. If you rock around violently, I don't think your weight changes. Oh. It displaces it, fucks with your balance. Definitely do not get into a fight. Against someone who knows what they're doing. They deadlift 115 kilos. If yes, ground. If no, pay. I feel like you're forgetting that the other person has actions in this scenario. The Rio show, yeah. You are what you eat. And this is why you get bruised and injured all the time, because you are a crisp. I mean, is that incorrect? Mace? Is that incorrect? cowards, so that does make sense, I guess. Although I don't eat cowards. I consume those weaker than me. It's the only way to gain strength. Your ass is sardine shaped. I guess I'm nugget shaped. Would probably be the most consistent food I have in my diet. Weirdly pale when it's coated in bread and random hair attached. If it's a McDonald's nugget, it comes with a secret white sauce sometimes as well. Congratulations, mates. You did it. I love the full stop. If you read that in an American way, that sentence is come period. You said secret white sauce in your autistic glory, your brain decided to type the first four. Well, you got the joke, so that's the important bit, I guess. It didn't have to be. I mean, it was, though. Oh. You have center mass stuck in your head now? Is that a song from the big people? Yeah, it was. Okay. I couldn't remember. What the fuck are they called? I've forgotten the name. That's it. '23. Four of them changed the world in 2001. Amazing. That is terrible. Oof. You spawned into that with minus 20 ice. That's so rough. I mean, you can still enjoy the fact that multi's being played, right? Honestly, a death for that joke was worth it. The only thing multi changes is your participation. Fair enough. We are definitely too far past you at this point as well. We're at HR 5 now. Bum 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 bum. Get paid this week or early the next. You only spent 150 euros. Nice. You didn't splurge and buy all of the games when they were on sale. They still are. Quickly make this month way worse. Intending to finish Rebirth and see how you feel. Good idea. I'm honestly surprised you haven't bought them just to have them. For the future when you don't know what you want to do, but you feel like you desperately want to do something. If you haven't finished, you'll likely blame me. Fair enough. I doubt I will, but I wonder if I will finish Resonance of Fate today. Bracken did say they expect that I'm going to need to grind. Thank you very much for the hunt, Senton, wherever you are. I appreciate your help greatly. Thank you, thank you. I will, so that you know, whether you're able to or not, it's an entirely different situation, obviously. But I will at least be immediately into Hub tomorrow. Multi, straight away. until I get myself into G rank, basically. Huh. Okie doke. I'm gonna go on my break now. I will be back in 10-15-ish minutes or so. Until... Why did I say until? If you just want Monster Hunter specifically, tomorrow, same time as it was today, you can see that. Otherwise, I'll be back about 15 minutes with some Resonance of Fate. See you in just a sec.